Welcome to One Man's Tracks, the second-hand music channel. Pleased to have you here today as we survey the pivotal early chapters of one of Britain's most formidable singer-songwriters of the past 3 decades. Let's go and explore the uncompromising, primal passion of the sensational P.J. Harvey. Born in Dorset in '69, her early exposure to music came both in the form of her parents' record collection, a bunch of blues albums, some Stones, Dylan, as well as artistic friends of her parents coming over, staying the night, teaching her saxophone lessons, guitar lessons, exposing her to the industry and sort of the inner workings of that. She would join a couple of bands as a teenager, and eventually in the late 80s joined Bristol-based band Automatic Dlamini. The founder of said band, John Parrish, would become a musical soulmate to PJ and has since played a hugely prominent role across her accomplished and ever-evolving career, both musically and production-wise. He has been right alongside her. A couple of other AD members, Rob Ellis and Ian Oliver, would help her start her very own band in 1991 called the P.J. Harvey Trio. With Oliver soon returning to Automatic Dlamini, Steve Vaughan would take over on bass, and they'd sign with Too Pure Records to release their highly touted debut record, Dry, in March of 1992. The potency of this dark, bitter LP is undeniable. Its anthemic choruses and gritty blues rock and grooves propelled this trio to a major label bidding war, ending with Island Records and having Steve Albini lined up to produce its follow-up. A little under 13 months after Dry came its even more successful successor, Rid of Me, another alternative rock triumph with another rugged outpouring of hefty, empowered cuts that would solidify this band as an influential force. A passionate pursuit, harshly exposing our dark inner psyches, Rid of Me's raw breakdowns of human relationships is frankly brilliant, but it can also be quite noisy and abrasive at times. From pretty much start to finish, I am a huge fan of that album, but I'd be remiss not to mention that even Albini thought the demos of this album were so good that it encouraged her to release her very first solo effort. In October of 1993, through Island Records, entirely produced and recorded by P.J. Harvey, it's 4-track demos. This statement of independence coming out amidst the breakup of her band. It contains 8 demos of tracks that would become Rid of Me songs, as well as 6 previously unreleased ones, and they're all these raw, intimate looks into her creative process, and it sort of kickstarted a now more recent series of demo projects compiled across her now 30-year solo career. These demos are recorded with enough passion that they absolutely have enough ground to stand on, a particular unmatched freshness there. There's some really interesting comparisons to be made, as well as some absolute bangers that didn't make the official album cut that I absolutely adore. And even how the track list has slightly different sequencing adds some more interesting thematic through lines, or maybe even just some clever nods, like how lyrically Rid of Me feeds right into Legs. I love both versions of this opener. It's neat for me to see how the band can elevate its dynamics, add a little mystery to the atmosphere, and really make those choruses explode, but the fiery vengeance and potent, destructive yearning were clearly there from the start of this absolute killer breakup song. The dark, twisted whine of Legs then painfully and dejectedly breaks down following Rid of Me's aching anger. I actually prefer this more barren version's clearer vocal focus, as nice as the full band version is. PJ's particular ominous energy continues on with a little more humor on one of my favorite PJ tracks yet. It's the 4-track exclusive Reelin'. Its discordant organs, its distant shouted choruses, and flying white-knuckle performance has me hooked and replaying this atmospheric power trip over and over. Fly me to the moon. Take me to the moon. Then Tangled Lies sees Snake's deep hurt turn into a bitter rage, screaming out with a visceral disgust. This whole track's biblical loss of trust turns quickly to regret on Hook. It's a rougher, more charged up version of this very eerie track that has vocals reminding me of a different era Courtney, that being indie rocker Barnett, who may have taken some inspo from our girl's indignant stomping here. Shifting tone onto the towering, tongue-in-cheek 50-foot Queenie, an empowered ripper that is a fun, punky blast either way you listen to it. It then swerves us right into another exclusive called Driving that's an anxious, stripped-back tune that slowly gathers momentum, but then just kind of cruises right back on out. Maybe the song that gets most improved by heading into the studio is Ecstasy. This version's off-kilter, grungy blues rock is far shorter and just ends up failing to deliver that heftiness they achieved when they surrounded this slammer with denser instrumental grooves. While the licking may have started at her legs during Rid of Me, by the time we get to Hardly Wait, it's reached her face. It's exposing their sinful desires. It's one of the more unfinished demos here, and perhaps it wasn't quite substantive enough to invest into its anticipation, or maybe just a little too horny. Conceptually, though, it fits quite well as it leads us right into the unsatisfiable escapism of Rub It Till It Bleeds, a fantastic song made even more gratifying by the full power of a band digging into its slowly growing hypnotic swagger. We then get a couple of catchy, righteous, forever demo tracks with Easy's clever clapbacks rolling into the angry, building to a boil blues rock of M-Bike. Nearly finished, we're finally getting Railing's wish of getting blasted to the moon with another escapist favorite, Yuri G. This lunar-obsessed ode's damaged display is tremendously moving. Even with its click track, the 4-track version here blows the studio one out of the water and surpasses Legs as the least improved by the Albini. Appropriately, this album ends with a track called Good Night, and its wonky reverberations and listlessly slurred guitars end up swaying and settling down, readying you for a quiet life in the prairie land, away from all the harsh emotions. Such a raw, breathtaking, emotional experience. 4-track demos highlights the capabilities of Polly Jean's innovative musical mind, making her transition to solo act almost seamless as she continued to grace us with her expressions of beautiful discomfort on her slick, reflective follow-up to Bring You My Love, a double gold certified album released in February of 1995. 7 solo records later, 2 Mercury Prizes, 2 albums with John Parrish, all those demo albums I mentioned, compilations, soundtracks, video albums, even some poetry books. PJ Harvey has been a bold, boundary-pushing, influential force for nearly her entire lifetime. Well, at least my entire lifetime. I've only just scratched the surface here, and I'm pretty excited to continue to add her works to my collection as I find them. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, or really anything related, whether it be your favorite demo, your favorite album or song by PJ, or even a similar album by another artist you think I ought to dive into next. Leave me a comment other than that, all I've got left to say is thanks for watching, like, subscribe, take care, and good night.